You want to look back on President Trump, he passed 5 coronavirus bills with bipartisan support, and President Biden didn't do that with bipartisan support.
But Amanda, that's an indictment of Republicans. That's an the fact. You're absolutely right. When it was Trump saying we have to get money to businesses and the American people, Democrats didn't say we are going to deny this to Trump merely because he's in the other party. Republicans that I can imagine. I think
you're misinterpreting what I said.
No, I don't think so.
Using your own facts.
David Pakman got packed out as usual. Every time he has a debate or a discussion with someone who's conservative, he get destroyed. I think he's like 3,274, but who's keeping count? Who's keeping count? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into it, man. Drop some comments. Also, check me out on memberships if you want to support the channel. This is crazy. Let's get straight into it, man.
Right now, and basically since the pandemic, is that it's essentially a party of no. It's we don't want to do infrastructure. We don't want to do coronavirus guidelines. We don't want to do DACA. We don't want to do tax reform. We don't want to. So there's been really no substantive proposals of policy of what they want. Certainly, we don't want to do any changes to gun legislation. Now, I've said, I don't know that it's a bad strategy for Republicans. And what I mean by that is when you look at a candidacy like Madison Cawthorn, for example, his aide or his staffer straight up said, we're not running a policy office. We're running a communications office. It's memes and tweets and talking about I can put 2 guns on my wheelchair and all this sort of stuff. So my question is, do you think that this is a viable long-term strategy? It might actually be. Like, I don't know that the Republican Party really needs policy given who's voting for them right now.
Well, the Republican Party doesn't control a single lever of the government in Washington right now.
But the last 2 years of the Trump administration, they did.
They had the Senate.
And the White House.
They had the White House and they had the Senate.
Yeah.
And the House was controlled by Democrats.
Right.
So if you're talking about right now, because you were talking about topics for right now, because certainly Trump tried to do infrastructure and the Democrats said no. But if you're looking at issues right now, I mean, look, Mitt Romney did an interview and, Mitt Romney is the king of rhinos, I guess you could say. I mean, he would probably be the most moderate, the most willing to work with Democrats. And even he has said that going at this alone on the coronavirus bill, beginning of February, and said, Mr. President, let's pare this bill down. Mr. President, we have other ideas. And President Biden not only did he not listen, I mean, he didn't pay attention to a single one of their interests. And it sounds like staff was involved in this. Yeah. So be it. The point is, if you want to look back on President Trump, he passed 5 coronavirus bills with bipartisan support, and President Biden didn't do that with bipartisan support.
But Amanda, that's an indictment of Republicans. That's an indictment. The fact, you're absolutely right. When it was Trump saying we have to get money to businesses and the American people, Democrats didn't say we are going to deny this to Trump merely because he's in the other party, because the American people need it. When Democrats said, okay, well, now it's us, we'll do a relief bill that's very similar to what Trump did, Republicans said, we're not participating at all. So what you've just said is arguably the biggest indictment of the obstructionist Republicans that I can imagine. I think you're misinterpreting what I said.
No,
I don't think so.
Using your own facts, because what I said is that the Republicans went to visit with President Biden, and he dismissed everything that they said. He didn't take a single thing into account. He didn't even work with them. He didn't even come to the table and say, let's sit down and talk. They had
what concessions did Trump make to Democrats?
I swear these wokies get on my nerve, man. Get on my nerve. All he did was try to attack Trump nonstop, flip everything to mean something else, just so he could spin it and make it seem like Trump in the right is evil. It's corny. It's nasty work. In fact, we got a song for that type of behavior. Got a song that we usually play for people that like to live like this.
Yeah. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, yeah. You know your name. You
Nasty work. David Wackman is getting destroyed. I mean, he does in every debate like that I've ever seen of him. It's really sad, fam. He just be sitting there smug as ever, as if he's killing it. Nah, not in the way you think, at least. Not in the way you think. I mean, Destiny might think that you was doing your thing, but he might have ulterior motives. Let's get back to the video before I say something that get me canceled again. Come on, man. The year is almost over. Depends on when you see in this video. If you're seeing it a certain time, Happy New Year. But yeah, let me shut it down before I get shut down. Let me chill out.
Partially blamed it on staff, as did Republicans, the staff saying, we're not interested.
But what concessions did Trump make to Democrats on the COVID bills?
Kennedy Center funding, certainly other pieces of the bill that ultimately the law that Republicans were raked over the coals for.
Kennedy Center, wasn't that like $3 million or something?
It doesn't matter. It's the fact that, this is what's interesting to me.
Yeah.
President Trump was impeached by the House. And then 3 months later, he has Nancy Pelosi sit down with Stephen Mnuchin because Trump and her didn't have a relationship.
Right.
And he said, sit down and work something out for the American people. And they did. That's leadership. You don't pout and say, I don't like her, so I'm not going to work with her. I think that's what Biden did. Biden said, I don't have to work with you guys because we have 50-50 and Kamala will be the tie-breaking vote. So I don't have to work with you guys. So I'm not going to.
Right. Trump, but I think isn't the difference, Amanda, that Trump would have done that if he had the luxury of having.
Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, share the video. Also, drop some comments. I swear, man, David Wackman is nasty work. Let's get back to the video.
House, he just didn't. That's not anything to. I mean,
it was just a reality. We can't work in hypotheticals, but I look at someone who was impeached in the House by Nancy Pelosi, and 3 months later, she sat down with his Treasury Secretary and hammered out a bill for the American people.
But the reason she had to sit down with Mnuchin was Trump, didn't want to play in the sandbox with her anymore because of the impeachment. It's sort of like a criticism of Trump, really.
He had his proxy work with her. The ultimate result was a COVID relief bill, wasn't it?
Yeah, just like with Biden, right? The ultimate result was a COVID relief bill.
A partisan COVID relief bill.
Is it partisan if 75% of Americans support it? That's tens of millions of Republicans. What's partisan?
COVID relief, of which 90% of this bill does not go to COVID relief.
We've debunked, I've debunked that extensively. I don't want to jump into that. So let's not jump into that. In the few minutes we have left, what is the policy right now that you think Republicans should be focusing on? What policy? Now, I know you're saying, well, they don't control anything right now. Okay, fine. But when Trump controlled everything, you still had Democrats proposing things and saying, this is what we would like to see. What are the main policy points you think would be advantageous to the Republican Party right now to be working on?
Well, the Republican Party can't work on anything right now. It would have been nice if the Democrats proposed an actual infrastructure bill, because, as you know, infrastructure is a key word for bipartisanship.
Right.
But when you have a bill that's introduced that even Democrats can't agree on, where the majority of it is not for actual roads and bridges.
But this isn't my question.
I'm sorry?
I didn't.
David Wackman is actually the worst. He is the worst. He cut her off. She answered the question and you still was cutting her off. That's crazy. That's nuts, fam. He just wanted to be hostile because he was emotional. His feelings was hurt. I was going to say a joke right there that was going to get me canceled, and I'm showing growth because I stopped myself. Haters is watching. They trying to get me banned out here in these streets more than likely. So yeah, nah, I ain't gonna give it to him. I ain't gonna. But yeah, when it comes to David Wackman, he'll say anything to just go after Trump, flip whatever, right? And then just sit there with the smug look, just smug, right? Like he got it in the bag. You don't. You do not have it in the bag. I have to let you know that straight up. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video as well, fam. Watch more videos. Binge, watch a few. Just kick back and relax. And just watch. I'll be dropping like 2 to 3 a day. But go and check out some more and check out my memberships if you're able to.